Isn't it time you talk to your doctor about Viagra? 20 million men already have. With every age comes responsibility. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor. See if America's most prescribed ED treatment is right for you.
Kingdoms and queens, they all bow down to you. Ranches and ranch hands bowing too. And I'm taking off my
We could have gone a more traditional route, but it wouldn't have been nearly as memorable.
Here comes the sun again.
Nationwide insurance, let me hear it.
I've never had an accident. Is there anything you can do for me?
Yeah, I'm here with Liz. I need a brilliant idea right now. Guys, I just gagged! Here it is, deductible. Take $50 off. Wait, take $100 off for every year she doesn't have an accident and call it vanishing deductible. Hook, line, sinker. Done.
As America votes in all important primaries, we take you inside the critical races with late-breaking results, sharp insight, and smart analysis. Only on a powerful special report tomorrow.
My guiding principle:
customer service is #1.
the customer is the most important thing.
If you offer good customer service...
Own segment tonight. Let's bring in Fox News senior political analyst Britt Hume to talk about the political implications of the new mosque information for President Obama. Now, Britt, you know, we talked about this last week. You said that you didn't think the story was going to carry over to an extent to the November election. But now, this new deal, do you think I'm overstating this story, or is it important?
No, I think this is a good story and an interesting story, and it raises further questions about who this man Rauf really is and what his intentions are, and is likely to further public doubts about whether the mosque should be built, not whether there's a right to build it. As you know, the polls show an overwhelming majority of Americans agree that he has a right to do it, but a distinct majority also believe, as the president says, has suggested he believes, that it might not be a good idea. The president, I guess, really has taken no position on that, saying only that he has the right. But remember, Bill, this election this fall is about the members of the House and a subset of the Senate. And the thing to watch is where these embattled Democrats come out on this, the ones that are in trouble. My guess is that you won't find very many Democrats who are in trouble this fall saying that they're in favor of this mosque. They may say there's a right to build it, but most of them, I suspect, are going to come out against doing so. Yeah, but they won't even engage. But it is a Democrat versus Republican election, too, as we see in the Gallup poll, that there's such a big gap now between Americans who say they will vote for the GOP as opposed to the Democrats. But here's the deal. Do you agree with me? I believe the Obama administration has no idea about this Rauf. They don't have any. I think tonight when they, you know, when President Obama gets his little dispatch before he goes to bed saying, hey, there's a guy named Khan who's associate of Rauf, who's a truther and doesn't believe Al-Qaeda have anything to do with it, Obama's going to look at it and go, holy you know what. Well, I wouldn't rule that out, if assuming that the story actually surfaces for him. I mean, you got to wonder, you know, the New York Post alone, and now you have picked up this story, which is available out there from that investigative project who's
it's going to be on every internet website. It'll surface, believe me. It's over. It'll surface. But here's the deal. The State Department sends this Rauf on the taxpayer's dime all over the world to preach about, you know, détente between Muslims and America, which is a good thing, by the way, that theme. They don't know anything about him. Yeah. Because Rauf won't explain. It's all he had to do was come out today. We called him up and said, look, Bill, come on, I'll tell you who this guy is and why my association with him and whether he has anything to do with this community center or not. No way. No way. Runs, hides, and so does Khan. You can't be doing this on our dime, sending a guy like that overseas when you don't know everything about him.
Well, it does not look good for him, the imam, or this project, that the guy's been apparently hanging out with a truther. Truthers are in bad odor in America, and this is a very volatile thing. This is infuriating to Americans when they hear that somebody believes that 9/11, as this guy has said, I guess he said it was obviously an inside job. Well, that is something an idea that I think is pretty abhorrent to most Americans.
Yeah, and now President Obama is on record as getting involved with this, but not speaking about the wisdom, as you pointed out. And now it grows and grows and grows. Look, this story, whether you like me or not, whether you believe the investigative project or not, this story has now elevated itself because the suspicions that many Americans had, as I talked about with Juan and Mary Catherine, have now been confirmed. Here's a guy who says Al-Qaeda didn't have anything to do with it, deeply involved, who actually spoke twice at the site of this community center. This guy, not Ralph, who we're seeing here, this guy Khan, there he is. He spoke twice, and he's deeply involved with Ralph. They founded the organization, and now Americans who said, you know, we were against it because something didn't smell right about it. Now this is confirmed. So now what does Obama do? What does he do? Continue not to address it?
It's a good question whether he will now say that, having not said whether he thought it was wise to build it, he might decide that it would be a good idea for him to suggest it was not wise to do that. You know, I've thought for some time, Bill, that this story was probably going to die for lack of oxygen. It was kept alive, as you've heard me say, during August by the fact that there really wasn't any other news, and it was given a new lease on life when, you know, Rauf went on, when Rauf went on television, and then, of course, it was given some sustenance by the fact that we had the 9/11 anniversary over the weekend. Here comes another story that suggests that there may be other stories yet to be written about Rauf and his associates that will keep this story alive, and sooner or later force every politician, including Barack Obama, President Obama, to come out and really say whether he thinks this is a good idea or not. And my guess is if he comes out now and says it says anything, he's not going to say that he's for it.
Okay. Now, fairness of the story. I know we're going to be attacked for making this the lead story and talking about it tonight. There's no doubt we will. We're going to be accused of being anti-Muslim, bigots against Muslim. That's what always happens. And we're going to talk to Bernie Goldberg about it coming right up. I don't believe Washington Post, New York Times, right? It's going to have their editions tomorrow. They're going to ignore this story, and so will the nightly news, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm on Good Morning America tomorrow, so they can't. Stephanopoulos can't ignore it because I'm on Good Morning America tomorrow. So he has to talk about it because there I am. All right? And if he's smart, he'll get Rauf to sit right across from me. Okay?
But the truth, as you suggest, Bill, is that it really doesn't matter as much as it once did whether those big organs, who are not so big anymore, try to gloss over a story. There are too many other ways for the story to get into the bloodstream. And now that, you know, it hit the New York Post, it's on your program, it will be picked up elsewhere. People who care about this are going to know about this.
All right, Britt. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. Plenty more ahead as the fact moves along this evening. Our pal Ray Stevens has a new satire song about the Arizona illegal alien controversy. We will play some of that song for you. And then, as mentioned, Bernie Goldberg on whether the establishment media will even mention the ties Imam Rauf had to the 9/11 radical truther. Will the media pick up the story? I bet you guys are placing your bets right now. We hope you stay tuned for those reports as the factor continues all across the USA and all around the world.
Nasal allergies are ruining our camping trip.
I know who works differently than many other allergy medications.